Two deaths in London, almost 3 decades apart, both shrouded in mystery. The first, in September 1978, was at the height of the Cold War. Bulgarian dissident Georgi Markov died after being stabbed in the leg with a poisoned umbrella. The second is that of Alexander Litvinenko, a former Russian Special Services agent who was poisoned by a radioactive substance polonium-210 in November 2006. Both cases remain unsolved, but the investigation into the Markov death has suddenly intensified. 10 years after Georgi Markov's death, Belislav Radev joined the BBC's Bulgarian service, which the dissident used to work for after fleeing Bulgaria.
From what I understand, the detectives are trying to find any connection with any suspicious murders, with any similar cases that may throw light at the murder of the Russian dissident Litvinenko in London.
But the similarities between the coverage of Markov's death and the one that followed the Litvinenko murder are hard to ignore. It seems British media still has a taste for Cold War intrigue.
It is just amazing that in the year 2008 we are dealing with more or less the same media attention. If you just replace the name, you could easily have Alexander Litvinenko instead of Georgi Markov. It's extraordinary. 30 years later, the language is still the same. I personally find it difficult to see how a very sophisticated murder committed in our days has any bearings to the events of 1978 in London.
Still, officers from London's Metropolitan Police travelled to Bulgaria twice in the past 3 months. It is known that the Bulgarian Interior Ministry files on the case had already been destroyed. So what news could there possibly be? The police last visited Bulgaria in March 2008, and before that in late April 2007. It is here, at this bus stop, that Georgi Markov was stabbed in the thigh with a poison-tipped umbrella back in 1978. Today, surrounded by mystery, the case still remains unresolved, with many documents destroyed at the time. All the traces of the crime are likely to have vanished by now, but the Metropolitan Police have decided to get back on the case. The question is, why now? Some say this new wave of interest to the case could be just a demonstration that no one gets away with a murder. At the same time, an independent investigation established that the Italian Francesco Gilino committed the murder. He was questioned for 6 hours by Scotland Yard in 1993, but the questioning was inconclusive, and his current whereabouts are unknown. So what could have sparked this new wave of interest to the case?
Bulgaria is a nice place to go visiting. It's a very strange country at the moment. There are still quite a lot of people around who used to be involved in things like this, so perhaps you can find them by the seaside in Bulgaria. But at the end of the day, I certainly hope they're not spending a huge amount of money on this.
The question is whether digging up a case from a generation ago is worth it for the sake of maintaining Cold War stereotypes. Daria Pushkova, RT